In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to quickly build your first simulation in Epicenter. Start by going to forio.com/epicenter. If you don't have an account, you can create one here at Sign Up for an Epicenter account. I already have one. I'm clicking on Sign In instead. Once you're in your account, you can click Create a New Project to create your first project. Provide a project name. I'm going to call my project Bicycle Simulation. What will happen is the system will create a URL for your simulation. So mine is forio.com/app/mbean for my name /bicycle-simulation. So this is a URL-friendly ID for your project name. You have two choices in the free version. You can make it either public or private. I'm going to make mine public so that it's visible to anyone who wants to see it. In the for-pay version of Epicenter, you can also create authenticated accounts, which means that your users, your end users or players can log into the simulation. So I'll create the project. And now I have a URL. If I click on that URL, you'll see there's nothing in it. The project page you are trying to view is not available. So it's not yet doing anything. And you can also see that in my model folder is empty. There are currently no models in here. And I have no interface as well because I'm just starting. So my first step is to create a model. I'm going to quickly create a model in Excel today. And I'm going to create a bicycle company. And I'm going to start by creating a company that sells bicycles. And I'll have bike sales. And they'll start off at, say, 1,000 sales per year. I'm going to say this starts in 2020. And it goes on to 2021. Let's see. We'll keep it going for a few years here. Say to 2030. Okay. And I'm going to have my bike sales grow by 5% per year. And I'm going to also have a price for my bikes, and I'll charge $500 US for my bikes, and I want to have that equal for future years going forward here. Okay. And then that's going to lead to some revenue, and the revenue is simply going to be bike sales times bike price, and I'll copy that across. I also have some variable costs for my bikes. I'll say it's $250 per bike, and I multiply that times the sales, and I'll copy that across. You can see it grows over time because my sales increase. I'll have fixed costs of, let's say, I want to make a little bit of money. I'll say it's $200,000 per bike, and I'll make that equal in future years. And then I have total costs of 250 plus 200 equals 450,000 for my bikes. And then finally, I'll have profit here, which is going to be equal to my revenue minus my total costs. Okay, so that is my model. I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'll save this to my desktop in my case here, and I'll call it model. Okay. So there's a couple more things I need to do in order to get this to work with Epicenter. And one is I need to tell Epicenter what time is so that it can advance over time to use this in a simulation game, for example. So I want to do a single player or multiplayer game. And what we're going to build today is a simple single player game or turn-based game. So I need to tell Epicenter that this row is time. And from there, what I can do is to make it easier to build this model and sort of reference it inside of Epicenter, I'd like to name these rows by the name on the left column here in column A. And I can do that by selecting this entire set. And then this varies a bit if you're using a Mac or a PC, but if in a Mac, what you do is you go to Insert, Name, and then Create. And then what it gives you is this option that says left column, so create names in left column. And then what it will do is name this column, for example, time. So you can see that over here, it says time. And if I look at this row here, you can see it says profit. So this is now named that, and that'll just make it easier to reference these things in the simulation. How to do that in Windows and Excel. You can see here if you go to Formulas tab, and then select the name manager within formulas, you can go create from selection within the name manager. So again, in Windows, if you're using Excel, it's formulas, name manager, create from selection. What I'm going to do is set price. So I'm going to have price be the decision that the player or end user makes as they play the simulation. And I also want to have a little bit of history that's available in the simulation to show to the player so that when they start the game that there's some history in the simulation that they can kind of think about what's going on in the simulation. And what I want to do is have maybe 2 years of history. So this starts at step 0, step 1, step 2. And what I'll do here is create another um, uh, range, and I'll call it step 2. And then what I can do here is name that in the same way I did before. Insert, name, create, use that left column again. And now you can see that this cell is named step. And that's it. So now I'm going to go back and say File, Save, and I've saved my model to my desktop with these named ranges. Now it's time to go back to Epicenter, and I need to bring my model into Epicenter. So I'm on the Model tab. I go to my desktop, and I drag my model into my Model tab folder. I'm uploading my model. It says it's finished, and now I can see model.xlsx in the model folder. So I have a model in here now, but I still have no interface. There's no interface files for creating it. And the easiest way to create an interface for my simulation is to use the interface builder. So I click under Interface Builder under Project, and I'm initially presented with a set of options regarding the type of project I can build. And what Epicenter does is study the model that I just uploaded to determine what kind of interfaces are possible with this particular interface. And this happens exclusively with the interface builder. So one of the options here is a turn-by-turn based simulation, which is a game where I play round by round and submit in advance. Another type of simulation I might want to build is a multiplayer game. A third type is a run comparison where I can create scenarios and compare them to each other. And then finally, I can create a calculator. For today, I'm going to go ahead and click on the turn-by-turn based simulation. When I get into the turn-by-turn based simulation interface, I can see that Epicenter has already created some pages for me and made some assumptions around how I might want to build this out. And that's helpful for me to get started. However, if I want to, I can deviate from these pages and come up with alternate ways of looking at them. But starting off here, I can see a basic design where I have an introduction, a dashboard, a report, and decisions pages. On the introduction page, I can change the text. I can say, for example, welcome to the bicycle simulation. And I can add some introductory text here. And within that introductory text, if I want to highlight a section of it, I can do so by putting it in bold and so on. I can also put some media in here, and I can choose different images or videos. I'm going to go ahead and put a YouTube video in here right now. It doesn't have to be YouTube, it could be something else, but this is a video that I found online that I like for this. And for my project today, I also want to create a title. So let me go back to the pages here, link, and at the top I can see this option for header footer settings. And what that does is allow me to change the header or footer that appears on all pages of the simulation. So for example, here you can see project title stays the same no matter what page I'm on. If I want to change the project title, I can click on the header footer settings and change it to, for example, bicycle simulation. And I can also upload a header logo on this. Let me go ahead and do that. I'll create, right now I have no logos available. Let me create one. Here I can see an image that I had previously uploaded or that's available for me to choose. Let me go ahead and open that. And here you can see the image. I'll resize it so that it is kind of taking up the full image. And now I can select that image. And if I go back now to my main pages here, you can see the image of a bicycle along with bicycle simulation at the top. So that's a reasonable introductory page for me. In Epicenter, I don't have to take these default pages. I can build my own pages as well or use other defaults that are available. If I click on Add Page down here with the green Add Page button on the left, I'll see a range of additional pages that I create. So here are some different output pages that are available. And there are other input pages, combination pages, text pages, etc. So today, what I want for my dashboard is to create kind of a big dashboard like this that has a one big graph on it with a table below it. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to change the name of that page to New Dashboard. And so I've got this new dashboard out here, but this page right now, is, you can see here it says pages not shown in navigation. So currently this page isn't connected. Instead, the old dashboard page is still here with the 4 graph types that are built in. And what I want to do is replace that. So what I'm going to do is click back here to my new dashboard. I can click on this 3-dot option here on the right, and it's giving me an option to edit the grid or delete. I'm going to go ahead and click on delete. And now this page has nothing connected to it. And what I can do then is click on navigation settings at the top and select a replacement page for the navigation. So here I said dashboard. You can see these other ones have pages linked to them. And I can click here to change it to new dashboard. So now this dashboard is linking to the new page called new dashboard. And when I click into that then and click in here, I can see now that the new dashboard is in fact connected. All right, from here, what I want to do is click on dashboard and then use the model that I just created to create a graph. When I click on the graph type here, the chart type, I can see a range of different types of charts that I can create. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and create a line chart. I want to name my line chart, and I'm going to call it profit. And then what I need to do is click on data variables and select which data variable I'd like to include in this line chart. So I click on variable, and what's interesting about this is that the variable names that I created from the range names earlier appear here in this list. So this makes it much easier to connect your interface to your model by using those range names that we set up earlier in this presentation. And I can start to type some of the names. So if I type profit, I can see profit till full range or profit till current step. I'm going to go ahead right now and check profit full range. And what you can see here now is plotting out the entire graph of profit over time. But what I really want to do here is not show it for the full time frame, but instead to show it through the current step that I had set up earlier. So let me type profit again and select profit till current step. And now I'm seeing the first few steps from 2020 to 2022. So that's 0, 1, 2 steps that I'm showing to this point. And then the simulation has a history behind it, and I can simulate it forward with new decisions for the rest of this, and they will change as I update it. In addition, I might want to create a table, and I can scroll down here and click to add table area, and then choose which kind of table I want to build. And today what I want to do is build a financial table that's going to show values on the left column and then years on the right in column by column order. So I'll go ahead and create that. You can see the basic setup for that now where it's creating 2020 through 2026. And let me go ahead and call this my first list here will be revenue. And I'll put in the variable here, revenue, for the current step. And I want to format that. I'll format that as, let's see here, $, pound, comma, pound, pound, 0. There we go. All right, and now I want to add some additional variables below this. And I'll go ahead and add the variable costs here as a new variable. There it is for current step. I'll add a new number format for this, which will be like the previous one I had on here. And then I'll add another one for fixed costs. And add finally a profit one. Okay, so now I have my data table here. This is looking pretty good. And my next step is to add some decisions to the interface. So in my model, I had price as a decision that I could make as I move forward. And this page allows me to add some text and other information around my decisions page. But the key thing I can do here is to create a decision. I click to set decision type, and I see a range of different types of inputs that I can do: text input, output, slider, etc. What I'm going to add today is a slider. I'll click on this. I'm going to call this bicycle price. And I'm going to select a variable here, which will be price for the current step. Notice, so that will be for the current step. I'll set the price, and it can change over time. And for this, I'll set the format to currency. So it's set as currency for $500, which came from my model. And then I'll set the minimum price for a bike as $1, the maximum as $2,000, and the increment of $1. And I'll also allow editing for the value directly, which will let me change this value here directly. If I turn that off, then all I will be able to do is just move the slider. But here I can move the slider or type in the value. Finally, I'm going to click on the Simulate button at the bottom here. And what I want to have happen is when I click that Simulate button, I want to navigate to the new dashboard. So right now it says Navigate to for this operation, and I can say New Dashboard. So that is what will happen here when I click on this button. All right, I think we have enough to show the interface here. I'm going to switch it to the introduction page and hit Save in the upper right corner. And then I'm going to click on Preview here, and I can see the interface. And you can see, welcome to the bicycle simulation. Up here, I can change the view of this to look at different types of views for different devices. So if I had this on a smartphone, for example, this is what it would look like, and it has the drop-down hamburger menu here where I can switch around, or I can look at it as how it would look on a tablet, or in this case, as I'm working on currently, a desktop computer. I can go to the dashboard and see the initial results here with my table, and go to decisions and move my value for my bicycle price, hit simulate, and see the value changing over time with the additional year in here. Let me go ahead and do that one more time. I'll lower it this time. Go ahead and simulate, and it's advancing year by year as I move through the simulation. So this has all been saved. If I return now to my project homepage, I can see the link for my simulation here. I can see the model that I uploaded earlier. And now in the interface folder that was previously empty, I can see HTML files that were generated from the interface builder. And if I click in here, for example, onto pages, I can see the introduction page, report page, decisions page, and new dashboard. If I click on, for example, decisions page in here, this is the HTML that was generated by the interface builder to create, for example, the slider. So this is the line actually that creates that slider referencing the model variable. And as you gain sophistication in using these tools, it's okay also to go in here if you want to and edit this HTML or upload HTML and things like that. Editing the name of your project and changing the access information. If you go to the project page, you have an option over here of downloading the entire project, and you can also run the project directly from here. If I click into Run Project, and I'll right mouse click in this case and say Open in Incognito Window, because I created this project as a public project, it's available without any kind of access or any kind of authentication rights. All right, that's my introduction to using the Interface Builder and Forio Epicenter. And there's more to do from here, but this is a good place to get started.